You're listening to Opera Box Score.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Wherever you are, however you're listening, it's America's talk radio show about opera. It's Opera Box Score. I'm Weston Williams, joined by Oliver Camacho. All right, this week we get the full field report on the 2026 Des Moines Metro Opera Festival. First up, a Monday evening quarterback on Carlisle Floyd's Of Mice and Men. Then 10, count 'em, 10 free throws from the Stars of Tomorrow Apprentice Program Showcase. Then we go inside the huddle with the star of Des Moines Tosca, soprano Laura Wilde. Finally, a recap on Oliver's favorite King Roger costumes and a look ahead to the 2027 season. And since that's a whole lot of content, we'll skip the 2-minute drill this week. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast. On Spotify, click follow. On Apple Podcasts, hit the plus sign. You can also stream episodes of OBS every Saturday at 10 a.m. Central at amplisoundsradio.com. Email us your hot takes by writing to mailbag@operaboxscore.com or upload a voice memo using the You Got Something to Say tab on our website, operaboxscore.com. However you contribute, you get an OBS beer coaster, an OBS lapel pin, and a #1 OBS fan foam finger, just for sharing your own hot take. And without further ado, Oliver Camacho, since it's just the two of us, I know it's time for some tennis, and I've accepted it.
Well, picture this. I leave for Des Moines late Friday morning, but since Wimbledon is in British summertime, I'm able to watch the first men's semifinal. I have no choice but to learn about the second men's semifinal via, the internet and just reading the score. But I'm able to keep my eye on the women's final. I honestly was not that invested in it after the semifinals. I was very disappointed in the semifinal results. But I am still invested in the men's final results. And I have to leave for opera events and check out of my hotel while the men's final is being played. And so I'm able to watch the first set in the hotel. And then I have to stay off of Instagram and stay off of Facebook for the entire Sunday that I go to the events, then go to the airport, and then get on the train back to Chicago. I walk in my apartment at about 11 p.m. on Sunday after a long evening of travel and humidity in Chicago. And I sit down to watch the rest of the men's final that I missed, which ended up being four sets in total. I make it to the end of the second set and I could not stay awake. And so I didn't learn of the results until Monday morning. And I have to say, I was very satisfied with the results. I just can't get behind Alexander Zverev. And one would think that he's my type because he's tall and he's German and he's blonde. These are all things that I like. Curly hair. But those of us who follow men's tennis, follow tennis in general, we know that there's some accusations against Zverev, and I just believe women. And until, we know the full truth about what happened about those things, I just feel icky about him. And so congratulations to Jannik Sinner for getting his 5th Grand Slam title in a very exciting fashion. I thought it was a great match.
Well, Oliver, you've just described, avoiding tennis for an extended period of time, then falling asleep in the middle of a tennis match. That's just my life, Oliver. So I'm glad we can really connect like this. Let's talk some opera.
Pass or fail? Here's Monday evening quarterback.
So we're going to begin this all Des Moines episode. Oops, all Des Moines. I was going to describe my weekend. So I arrived in Des Moines last Friday. And the first event was actually the pre-concert lecture for Tosca. And it was my first time attending what they call prelude talks. And all of their prelude talks are given by their in-house dramaturg and in-house stage director, Joshua Bortz, not sure how you say his last name. And I have to say, he is so good at these sort of like well-researched, but very accessible, approachable conversations it seems like he's having. He has lots of things he wants to say, and he's so hyper, and you know that he only has like 30 minutes and he wants to say everything. And so he's like talking very fast, but it's filled with so much passion, and it's so informative. It really does set you up to enjoy the opera. So I was very glad to experience one of those for the first time. I ended up going to all three of the opera preludes as they're described. And they're on a college campus. They're at, I think it's called Simpson College in Enola. And so they've kind of taken the Art Center and, adapted it to be the Des Moines Metro Opera House for the season. And so there's this room that's assigned for these prelude talks, and they're at capacity. I mean, literally people are standing up, lined up against the walls and standing outside of the room because everybody wants to attend them. And they're definitely worth hearing. So next year I will plan ahead and I'll try to get there early enough so I can have a seat, or I'll end up giving up my seat to some senior citizen anyway. So it doesn't matter. I'll show up late. So, and then my first opera was Of Mice and Men. And, honestly, I wasn't looking forward to it because
it was written past the year 1750. So
exactly.
Already a losing column there.
I only have ever listened to two Carlisle Floyd operas, Of Mice and Men and Susanna. And I prefer Susanna. But I have to say the performance and the production won me over. And it might have been, all said and done, my favorite production of their season, thanks in no small part to the Lenny, performed by a British, I guess you'll call him a Heldentenor. He's a jugendlich Heldentenor, John Finden, in the role of Lenny. And I don't know if you've read Of Mice and Men, if you've seen the opera before, but, Lenny is sort of, kind of like Forrest Gump, he's not, he's a very simple guy,
Yeah.
And man, this guy broke my heart. He was so believable, so gigantic on stage. Like you could just sense that his hands are like big enough to like crush your face, but docile and sweet with flashes of rage that were truly terrifying. It was a beautiful performance, and it was a tour de force, and a huge voice, very, very commanding, but he didn't sing loud all the time. And there were lots of, passages where, Lenny is very distraught, and rather than, try to sing bel canto, soft, tender singing, he just chose a different technique and did some off the voice singing, and the voice sounded busted sometimes. And I think, oh, is this his voice? Is it busted? No, it was clearly a choice. And he would get back to his technique and, be able to find that more, edgy, steely sound when it called for it. But he gave so many colors, almost like a leader singer approach to this role. And I was just impressed. The whole cast was great. Katie J. Bryan, who we'll hear from coming up shortly, as Curly's wife. And it made me think, God, this opera is pretty misogynist. Like the one female character in the opera doesn't even get her own name. She's just known as Curly's wife. Curly was great. A tenor that I've been following for a while, Adrian Kramer, who did the apprentice program at Ravinia years and years and years ago. John, what's the name of this main character? George Milton was sung by John Moore, who is a Des Moines regular, and the audience clearly loves him, and the role feels very appropriate for him. It's very inhabited. Just a great show. Very simple set design, sort of scene stealing. Four-legged stars. There's a dog named Clarence, a 5-year-old blue heeler who played the role of the old dog that gets shot in the back, which is terrible. And then the puppy, they actually had a puppy, a 9-week-old mini shepherd, called Freya, who played the role of the farm puppy that, Lenny inevitably crushes to death because he just loves
horrifying. Really,
he loves things that are soft. He kills the mouse in the first scene. And
listen, I have a dog, and sometimes the cuteness aggression just hits. I get it, Lenny.
Yeah. Anyway, congrats to the cast and crew of Mice and Men. And before we move on to the next event, let's hear a little bit of John Findon from the 2023 Operalia competition. This is one of the earlier rounds with piano. Here he is singing music from Peter Grimes with pianist Nino Sanakiche.
Take those bright and fancy buckles off your feet. There's your oilskin and sou'wester. Stir your pins. We must get ready. I'll take the collar off your neck.
Free throw.
Okay, so that was Friday night. My Saturday had two ticketed events: the apprentice program called Stars of Tomorrow with orchestra, which also included conducting apprentices, and then Tosca in the evening. We're going to do something different today. I'm going to let you hear my very brief on-the-ground interviews with some of the apprentices after they performed Stars of Tomorrow. So I haven't counted exactly, but I think there's about 40 apprentices this year. I'm sure there's a good data out there you can find. There's a larger proportion of men this year because they're doing Of Mice and Men, which has one soprano, and they're doing Tosca, which has one soprano, and they're doing King Roger, which has one soprano and one, I think, comprimario soprano role. And at least there are women in the chorus of King Roger, but there are no women in the chorus of Mice and Men. And, there's children's chorus in Tosca, and there's, women that attend the Te Deum, or that, there are some women in the chorus of Tosca. But it's a very male-centric season in Des Moines. And so the sopranos and mezzo and one countertenor apprentices, their real time to shine is the Stars of Tomorrow concert and the scenes programs that they do throughout the season. But for me, the Stars of Tomorrow is the big deal because it's with orchestra. And, nobody gets to sing an aria. It's always, duets and quartets and the septet from Tales of Hoffmann, etc. And it was really a great opportunity to hear some of these singers. I won't go through the program because that would take too much time, but here we are with the post-concert glow, beginning with a conversation with one of the singers who sang the Barber of Seville quartet. And I will name all of these people after we hear these free throws. This is your second year as a young artist?
Yes, it is.
And how has the experience been for you so far?
It has been a great experience. It's always super fun to work with this company. It's a lot of work, but I think we put together a really great final product for everything, so I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Your Rossini quartet, conducted by Chiwan, was such a highlight for me. Like, there was such a great sense of rhythm and fun and acting, and I was just really impressed with how you put that together in what seems to be like sort of like it's a very intense process to get this concert ready, right?
Yeah, it's, we had it a little bit easier because we had done the full quintet as a part of the scenes. So 3 out of the 4 of us already knew it, which was kind of a relief because this season was so heavy in terms of like the chorus work and that kind of rep that we just did not have any time. So I was thankful to be doing something that I had already worked on, but it's definitely a lot of work to get it. That type of music is so stylistically specific, especially when working with an orchestra, a full orchestra, and keeping it with the conductor who's behind you. So it was a fun process, though. I'm glad to have done it.
You were great. Really, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
This is our Figaro.
Hello there.
I was just commenting that was one of the pieces that was a real highlight for me because it felt so put together. It felt acted, and the rhythm was there, and the style was there. Did you have anything to do with that?
Really, I jumped into that scene. That scene in its entirety was performed earlier this season in a scenes program, and one of our other baritones sang Figaro, so I jumped in a week ago. Luckily, it's not a crazy big excerpt, but it requires a lot of precision. And so working with our conductor, Chi Yuan, we really wanted to get the precise diction in the front of the performance and let the voice come later. And we worked really meticulously as a group to listen to each other, always have our ears, just as open as our eyes, and make sure that we were together in dynamics, together in rhythm, together in intensity, And so, in Rossini especially, you have these, long build-up crescendos in these groups, group numbers like this. So we really wanted that to come out and stick out. I hope we, accomplish that.
I'm so glad you mentioned the preparation for that because I think Rossini doesn't get enough respect, and we see so many Rossini performances just sort of fall flat.
Yeah.
But it does take that sort of thought about how you're going to do it together and the timing.
Yeah. It's fun. It's so fun, It's a rare chance as an opera singer you can think less about the voice and more about the style and the performance, and that's really the front of a lot of Rossini, and especially as is a comic masterpiece like Barbara Seville. The style is just so important. So,
well, congratulations. The shtick really worked.
Thank you.
Daniela Machado.
Hi.
So we spoke last year when you sang L'Amico Fritz.
Yes.
And this year you did the Giulietta duet and septet from Hoffmann. And it was a great way to open the show. Man, your voice is insane.
Thank you so much. It's so exciting to get to explore different repertoire in a concert like this.
Is this your second season here or third?
Yes, second.
And do you think you're going to come back?
I don't know. So the apprentice program only allows for you to come 2 years. So hopefully next time I come back, it'll be as a principal.
I think so. Also, next year there isn't much for women to do.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But you could sing Giulietta or Antonia. I'd love to hear Antonia.
Yes. I actually normally would sing Antonia. But this was an exciting experiment in what the rest of the role, if we were to do all three, would look like.
You went to Rice University.
I did.
And now you're done with all your studies?
Right now I'm at the Academy of Vocal Arts.
Ooh, okay, awesome. So I'm crazy about your presentation, your voice, your look, everything is so on point for me. Where can I find more Daniela Machado content?
Oh my gosh, you can follow me on Instagram at Daniela Machado Soprano. I'm also on Facebook, and that's when I start to post kind of what I'm doing. Right now, this next season at AVA, I'll sing Leonora nel Trovatore and Giorgetta nel Tabarro. I know we get great opportunities to sing big rep.
I love how every time you say something, it feels like it's a Latin American opera.
I know. I speak Italian with a Spanish accent almost. Yeah.
Well, anyway, you're so stunning, and I just want my audience to know that you're out there and you're going to have a huge career. I could tell.
Thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. I'm going to get this guy right here. Can I talk to you for a second? It's my podcast. Okay. This is one of the bass baritones who sang the I Puritani duet. Tell me your name.
Ben Strong.
I was just thinking about this season here at Des Moines and how it's very bro-y.
Yeah, for sure. You got Tosca, and because I'm covering Scarpia and the Tosca, and then I don't know, Mice and Men. There's only one woman. You're probably just talking to her, or she was covering, and then the Archbishop. I'm the Archbishop in the King Roger, and it's a lot of men this year. A lot of men.
Well, I'm so impressed with this program that they found a handful of you, you're a bass baritone or baritone?
Bass baritone.
Yeah. Who really have this professional level tone quality. Please tell me that you have professional engagements right after this.
Yeah. So thank God I just got my job at the Lindemann program at the Met last year. So I'll be going into my second year at Lindemann, and I'll be doing Angelotti at the Met this year. So that's super exciting for me. They haven't given it to a young artist in 17 years since Ryan Speedo Green. And then I've got Second Philistinian and Simpson and Delilah. and then covering something in Rosencav. But this is my second year back at Des Moines. I really just like how they treat me. I like how they treat all of us like people. You don't really feel like you're working for a company. You feel like you're part of a family. And so I had a couple other contracts this year, and without a doubt, this one was the best one for me.
This is the tenor who basically ran away with the show. Will you say your name for my audience?
Hi, my name is Luca Tsevelidze. I'm from country of Georgia, and I came to Houston for the Young Artist Program.
Can you say your last name to me one more time slowly?
Luca Tsevelidze.
Televidze.
Tsevelidze, yeah. The Americas doesn't have that letter, so Tsevelidze.
I want to be able to say it correctly. It's Televidze?
Tsevelidze.
Tsevelidze.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's clear to everybody at this concert today that you have this incredible Italianate tone. Like, you are ready for a major career. Your voice is stunningly beautiful, and I'm just really excited for you. Do you know what's the next steps for the next couple of years? What's happening with you?
Oh, thank you for that kind words. I don't think that I'm ready yet because I'm 24. So, but I have so many things still to learn. But I hope that I love that you like that. Thank you for that.
You know, your presentation and your tone reminds me of Jose Cura.
Oh, thank you so much. He's one of my favorite tenors.
Who are you modeling your career after? Because to me, it's so clear that Italian music is going to be your specialty.
Yeah, like when I was 9, I started to listening old Italian tenors. So that's my ear is like so close to that sound. So I think that just helped me to like be more that line, that more. So I'm more Italian heroic tenor, I think. So I hope in someday that I can sing really big roles. So.
You're in your 20s now. Please keep it lyrical as long as you can.
Thank you so much.
But the Don Carlo, I already crying already because it was so good.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this is my first time that I sang that duet, and this is my first time for La Rondine Quartet. I'm just so happy. And
it's not that quartet is 4 high C's or something like that.
No, like 4 high B's and 1 high C.
Okay. Well, anyway, congratulations. It was great to be. Are you coming next year back to Des Moines?
I don't know. They didn't. So they have to cast yet. So they're gonna decide who's gonna come or no. But I love this company. This is a great company. Really supportive. So let's see.
I mean, I could see you as the Hoffman cover.
I covered this year Cavarados. I don't know. Probably. Why not? Yeah.
Well, it was great to meet you. Thank you so much. Can you say your name for the podcast so I don't say it incorrectly?
My name is Katie J. Bryan.
So Katie sang Curly's wife in Of Mice and Men, the only soprano role in the whole opera.
Yes, yeah, she's a very lonely girl on the ranch.
You were fantastic. Your voice has that quality that it's just like so in tune, and it's so legato, and the English is very clear, and you like soar over the orchestra, and you have to sing some very rangy music.
Yes, it's one of the more vocally demanding roles I've ever sung. So it took a lot of calibrating and figuring it out, and but I have a lot of fun actually. It's really grown on me. I've fallen in love with it.
I mean, it's not a great thing to talk about, but there's definitely the suggestion of domestic violence in your role, and then you are basically strangled on stage. So I'm like laughing now because it's upsetting to me, but you were really convincing in that, and it was sort of really upsetting for the audience to watch.
Oh, well, thank you, and I'm sorry. And you're right, we laugh when we're uncomfortable, right? Yeah, it's a dark story. Every single one of the characters to me is tragic, tragically dreaming and hoping to achieve some kind of goal, and yikes, they don't.
If only you had like nappy hair.
Right, I know. That's her downfall.
Thank you so much for talking to me. Okay, Ethan Burke.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, Ethan. You just sang in the Des Moines Stars of Tomorrow concert. You started the show off singing Hoffmann. Everybody in my audience knows that Tales of Hoffmann is one of my absolute favorite operas. You did a fantastic job. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Is Hoffman something you're looking forward to adding to repertoire? Is that sort of, I feel that you're more of like a Britain tenor.
I mess around with a lot of stuff. My voice, I feel, fine. It sits in a couple of weird places, but I've had Hoffman kind of in the periphery of my repertoire for a couple of years now. I actually did the septet in a gala concert at Yale when I was there, so it was nice to bring that back out.
So I just like, you're in this group this year. There's a lot of male talent in the ensemble. There's so many dudes in this cast. You have a named role in Mice.
Yeah. I'm playing Carlson of Mice and Men, so I get to shoot a dog on stage. Well, off stage. Off stage.
It's just really exciting to see so much talent like on this stage, and I feel almost bad for the sopranos and mezzos. Like, what did they get to do this year?
Well, the sopranos and mezzos have gotten to do a lot of stuff. Just, there's fewer named roles for women in this season, but, DMMO has such a robust, category, a robust catalog of things that we get to do, such as, our big scenes program, which they get to do all sorts of stuff, and obviously this concert features a lot of the women who didn't have, necessarily featured or complementary roles in the shows. But, the men are great. The women are also great. Everyone's great. All the apprentices are just great.
You are singing for industry professionals next week?
Yeah.
Are you angling for a certain next step that you're hoping to get to sing for next week?
Well, it's good just to be heard by as many people as you can. I'm very fortunate, and I'm actually signed with a manager right now, so that takes a little bit of pressure off of singing for some people that are looking to be signed with somebody. But, every contact you make, every person you sing for is someone that can give you a job later down the line. So I think the goal is just to go and sing your best and see what comes out of it,
And do you have another next engagement after this summer?
I'm doing a Pagliacci. I'm singing a Beppe in Youngstown, Ohio, and then, back on the audition circuit and see what comes up next.
I think you're going to get some stuff, because I really think you have like a quality and a distinct sound, and you sound like you're a good musician, so I feel it for you.
Those violin lessons at 3-year-old, they still pay off every day, so can't complain. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
Okay. Can you say your name for our audience here?
Hi, hello. I'm Titus Musi, Titus Musi the Third on my website. And like most sequels, I'm like slightly worse than the original. Nobody liked The Godfather Part 3. Nobody. Sorry, this is really dumb. And this is.
My name is Phoebe. I'm from Singapore.
Phoebe, you have one of those tone qualities that's just so forward and sparkly, and in gigantic ensembles with the orchestra behind you and like 5 other people singing, your voice just soars. It is really, really impressive.
Oh, thank you. I don't know. It doesn't seem that way to me, but I'm glad it sounds that way out there.
It's like I was like, okay, every time you're on the stage with the people, it's like your tone is just sitting right there on top, like so perfectly in tune and with lots of spin on it. So I was really, really impressed. Congratulations.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
Is this your first season as a young artist here?
Yeah, it's my first season at DMMO.
And do you expect to be asked back?
I hope. Fingers crossed. Maybe you can let them know as well. Let them know the glowing review that you had for me.
I think after today, people are like, yes, please more of her. So anyway, congratulations. How about you? Is this your...
This is my first time at Des Moines Metro Opera, yeah. First year as apprentice artist. I'm covering George Milton and Of Mice and Men, and that's been a really wonderful experience.
That is a role. Holy moly. That's, yesterday was gutting.
I know. You can't leave that theater without crying. And there's several moments where it happens. Both when the old dog dies, when Candy's screaming, take him, and that ending is just, they handed depression to us on a silver platter in high school in American literature, and that's called Of Mice and Men, yeah.
And this John Findon, who plays Lenny, Jesus.
Yeah, he's unreal. He's a true Lenny. It's written for a dramatic voice, and he certainly brings both the drama in his acting and his vocal quality as well. It's beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Okay, and to wrap up, I have Alan Perriello, who is the music director.
Director of Artistic Administration.
Okay, I'm going to try to say this in a way that's as kind as possible, and I'm actually trying to compliment you all, but the men you have assembled for this young artist season is mind-blowing. Did you put an emphasis on finding people who could sing Scarpia, who could sing George?
that's the emphasis on every role in the season. And there's particular beasts of roles to cover this year with George and Lenny and Scarpia and Cavaradossi, and really bucket list roles for these folks, and making sure that we get the people at the right time that are ready to take on these roles and grow with them and learn from those principal artists and take in everything that we do here.
I mean, in particular, this kid, Luca from Georgia. What?
Yeah, so Luca's in the Houston Grand Opera studio. We heard him in, I think it was late September. It was his first audition at all in the States, besides getting into the Houston program. And we heard him sing Lenski's aria Kuda Kuda from Eugene Onegin, and we immediately asked, has he thought about Cavaradossi yet? And they gave it some great consideration. And this is his first summer festival in the States, and we're just so honored to support him and have him here and watch him develop.
I mean, in addition to just having the tone, he has the style already.
Yes, that he has that thing that you can't teach, and just brings such a beautiful sensibility to it and has an exciting future ahead.
And then you found two bass baritones who could sing Suoni la tromba.
Yes, that you can hear over the orchestra, and then can also roar an A flat. I mean, yeah, both a King Roger cover and our Scarpia cover. Big roles, big orchestras to sing over, and just great guys.
And I was so happy to see Daniela Machado back this year. I'm sure she was covering some important role, but she's ready for a career.
She is wonderful. She had a great success in the Zachary's competition just before coming here. She was the Curly's Wife cover in Of Mice and Men, got to do some staging rehearsals, and really got to see her continue to grow from last year in such a beautiful way.
I know they're sort of all your children, but is there somebody who we didn't get a chance to experience yet that maybe I'm going to experience in King Roger, or I'm going to experience tonight in Tosca, that didn't really have like a shining moment in Stars of Tomorrow?
There are. I'm not going to have any names jump to mind immediately, but they also get to shine in the scenes programs that we do throughout the rest of the summer too, and all get highlighted in different ways, whether or not it might be exactly in this concert, but in other ways. So a wonderful mix of folks at all different ages and levels of growth and artistry.
It was an extremely impressive concert. There are some singers in this concert today that's like, where can I see them again?
Yes, and we want to see where they go as soon as they finish here next week, and we're going to be keeping an eye on them too.
And we're at the reception, and just like 20 feet away from me is Christopher Sokolowski, who was an apprentice here, and now is...
Actually, he wasn't an apprentice here, no, but he
sang in Three Oranges.
He was the prince in Love for Three Oranges 3 years ago, and happy to have him back in this triumph of King Roger.
I had a spy come down here last week and see King Roger to give me advance notice about it, and she said it was the best opera she's ever seen.
It's a wonderfully outrageous piece. There's so much to take in. There's so much to think about. The score is incredibly complex and beautiful and rich, and leaves just from friends that have come to see the show, they're still texting me their thoughts and feelings about it, and I think it leaves people really wanting to see it again and think about it and wonder when they'll get to see it again, because the piece just doesn't come up very much. But we've assembled an amazing cast. The production is stunning, and I think we're doing the piece very proudly.
Alan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so in order of appearance, we had tenor Douglas Kulklasure. See, that's why I should have asked him to say their names on the microphone. It's Kulklasure or Kulklasure. I should have asked him. And baritone Harrison Hancock. They were in that Barber of Seville quartet. Daniela Machado, the soprano, who I've learned was covering Curly's Wife at Of Mice and Men. Then we heard bass baritone Ben Strong, who was the cover for Scarpia. He sang Suoni la tromba with another baritone, which was incredible. Then we heard that tenor, who I think is going to be a huge star, Luca Tsevelige. He was the cover for Cavaradossi. Then, not a apprentice, a principal artist, Katie J. Bryan joined us. Then we heard tenor Ethan Burke. Then baritone Titus Musi III. and soprano Phoebe Chi. I interviewed those two together, and we concluded with Alan Perriello. I believe he said his title at the company in that clip, so I don't want to say it wrong, but that's what he does over there. He leads the Young Artist Program, amongst other things. And I just wanted to include some of those singers because they're all at different points in their career. Some of them are very ready for the next step in their career.
Right.
But some of them are, just out of their undergrad or is still in their master's or still getting a diploma. And to me, it shows that the next step in your career as a singer is highly achievable. If you are at one of these more prestigious, conservatories or universities, and you can audition for a program like Des Moines or like St. Louis, you may start off just being somebody who sings in the chorus and doesn't cover anything, but that is getting your foot in the door and getting to be heard at concerts like Stars of Tomorrow, where industry people will show up and you do well, or you don't do well, but you have a good showing and they invite you back the next year, and next year you're a compromario role.
And then you wind up on Opera Box Score. I mean,
with a microphone shoved in your face
by someone who didn't even ask you how to pronounce your name.
Okay, so that was Saturday afternoon. My next event on Saturday was Tosca. So let's get ready to go inside the huddle.
Huddle up. Let's go inside the huddle.
So Tosca on Saturday night stars Laura Wilde in the titular role, the tenor singing Cavaradossi, Brian Michael Moore, and Scarpia sung by Norman Garrett, conducted by Christopher Allen. David Neely took the conducting duty for of Mice and Men and King Roger. I think he did. Yes. So Tosca, directed by Joshua Bortz, who does the pre-concert talks. A very beautiful set design, a set design that I think could and should travel to other opera companies. Very realistic, and no attempt to, change the date or place, like as straightforward of a Tosca as you can get, which to me means that the onus is on the performers to act this thing and to try to bring it to life. And in the end, it was a very realistic presentation of Tosca. And one of my favorite things was Laura Wilde taking the knife and stabbing Scarpia in the chest and then twisting it and then pulling it out and stabbing him in the back. It was awesome. great fight choreo. Before we hear Laura Wilde, who is somebody I've been trying to get on this show forever, let's sample a bit of a recent performance she gave of Salome at Melmo Opera, the orchestra here conducted by Patrick Ringborg. Laura Wilde, welcome to Opera Box Score. I want you to confirm for the audience that I've actually been interested in talking to you for probably 10 years now.
Right. Yeah.
But it just finally happened that we're in the same place at the same time. And the reason why it's actually very satisfying for me to talk to you now is that, not to pat my own back, but when I heard you sing Mariana in Rosenkavalier, I remember thinking, that's a Marschallin there. Like, it was so, the tone was so compelling and so easily heard over the Strauss Orchestra. And of course, Mariana is more of a character role, you know,
yes,
but you
is.
like, you know, whatever, you're in your 20s at the time, you already were going toe to toe with like, whatever, Amanda Majeski, you know? And so it was just very like, okay, she's she's a Marshallin, you know. Have you done Marshallin yet?
Not yet.
Okay. But it's something that you're, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Yes.
But you already sang Salome.
Yes. I've been doing things sort of not in a straight line in my career.
And for somebody who's, I don't want to say you're no longer a young artist by any standards. You are a fully arrived artist. But you look at your repertoire, you know, Yenufa, Kachakawa Nova, Salome, Tosca. What other roles did I mention here that are not Italian that are sort of...
Picda,
Yeah, Lisa. Yeah.
yeah.
Those are like prima donna roles. They're not the roles that somebody, you know, builds their chops on. They're roles that you have to be fully developed technically and artistically to even attempt those roles. Do you think, am I going down the right path right now with this?
Well, I think you know, it's interesting. I've been mulling over the idea recently, especially as I've been listening to this crop of young artists at Des Moines, who I think there's some exceptional voices and artists in this group. That repertoire is so important. I think, as I don't know if we'll get into this, but because I started my singing career as a mezzo-soprano and did all of my young artist training there, when I switched to soprano, it was really important to find the soprano roles that would unlock my type of soprano. And I think if I had been at a house that only did, you know, Bohème and Carmen and Mozart, which I did all of those pieces, but that's not what unlocked what I think is my voice. It was luckily being at the Lyric Opera of Chicago where I got to do the Rosenkavalier, and I got to...
Huge orchestra.
Yes, dive into the Czech repertoire. With my first year, I covered The Foreign Princess in Rusalka.
Huge orchestra.
Yes. Yeah, and so I think that there was a discovery of what it is to let my voice sing. And when I found the right repertoire, and when I continue to find the right roles, it unlocks sort of new stages. And so I don't know, I think that I've come across the roles at the point where I've been somehow thankfully ready to sing them.
So when one takes AI or whatever, Gemini, Google search, and puts in, okay, here are 5 opera roles, what would you call this Fach, you know? And it spits out Jugendlich Dramatisch Sopran.
Yeah.
And I feel that's right for you, because I did hear your Freya, and I understand you also have sung Sieglinde, which seemed like it fit like a glove for you. But you are still, you know, in the beginning of your career. And that, to me, does seem bold to be already doing those roles at this stage. So does that mean we're going in the direction of dramatisch?
Oof.
Or do you want to stay here?
You know, we started this conversation a bit before we started the interview. I have never labeled myself beyond, well, first mezzo for years and then soprano. And whenever I speak to young artists in particular, I'm very hesitant to put specific Fach on them. Often because it tells especially young singers what they can't do more than what they can do. What their voice shouldn't be able to do versus what it, you know, should be doing. And I think, as I think back to sort of my beginning, even when I was a mezzo-soprano, I would pick sometimes the high keys of art songs, sometimes the low keys. And when I was at Indiana University, I was singing Italian Girl. I did that whole role and Joe March and Little Women, but in the practice room, I was playing with Trees on the Mountain for fun.
Okay. Which is actually a weirdly high aria.
Very high. It should have been a sign that I could float high seas. But I think that I still am discovering so much about my voice that I simply feel comfortable doing what feels comfortable now, and then the next challenge. So Salome for me felt like a risk. I loved Strauss. I knew that Strauss fit my voice really well, but of course it's Salome. I mean, you just hear this role and you know it's one of the iconic, difficult roles in the repertoire. And I dove in, and I think it unlocked sort of the next level of my voice in a way that if I hadn't been willing to step into that, I wouldn't have. So I am wary to say I will go dramatic simply because of what I think is unique about my voice and strong, and the things I know I'm still working on. And having relationships with incredible dramatic sopranos. when you get to be Sieglinde, you get to interact with Brunhilde a lot, and but we'll see. I mean, I never thought I would sing Tosca. I never thought I would sing Salome.
Okay, well, I can't wait to talk about Tosca, but we want to stay in this topic for a second because I only know technique through my Baroque training and through what everybody learns bel canto technique. And I, to this day, don't understand how a Strauss and Wagner singer does it. And I heard it a lot yesterday, where you just engage in a different way and suddenly the overtones are like refracting so much light. You know, it's not a warm, loud sound. It's a metallic, like a brassy sound. And I don't know, I know it has to do with overtones. I know it has to do with like opening up different, whatever cavities, but I don't know how you do it. Like, can you explain what it is to engage that part of your voice that will just like slice right through?
I think so. My graduate school teacher, Costanza Cucaro, called it the steel hand and the velvet glove.
Okay.
So her concept was there always needs to be the same core from top to bottom. The goal of a singer is to basically take your sweet spot of your voice and bring it down and all the way up. And then on top of that, especially in a big theater, to have the warmth sort of envelop the steel. And so I would say that for me, the more I've gone in the direction of just being able to find the most efficient, focused tone, it then allows me to do big fortes and then, and then pianos off of that. And my teacher was always a big believer that the best fortes come from piano and vice versa.
Okay, so I mean, we say this word a lot when we're taking lessons or coaching about placement.
Yeah.
But is placement actually a real thing? Is there such thing as placement?
I would say there is, and there is for me, my experience is there is a wrong placement. So when it sort of stays in, it's hard to describe with the voice, when it stays in sort of this focused front, sort of, in my mind, it's that when the tone is placed right, you can do whatever you want with it.
Okay.
And if it stays there all the way up and down, that's the goal. But if it goes back too far, if my tongue gets involved, if the sound gets diffused, then I have to go back to sort of finding the right placement, and it's just the efficient, natural place the voice should want to go.
Well, you don't get an opportunity in Tosca to do this, but I've listened to your Salome and listened to a little bit of the Janacek stuff you have on your website. There's this thing where the harmony is changing underneath you, and you are, I feel like, adding overtone so that the note tunes differently, like where you suddenly hear more, for lack of better, it sounds a bit sharper, you know, as the chords are changing, so that you stay above the sound. Is that something that you have to consciously think about, or is that just you've done it so much now where your body knows I need to be heard? In order to be heard, I've got to start tweaking it this way, Well,
I think to me it's actually the brilliance of Strauss's vocal writing, is that he placed the voice in the most efficient place to be able to sing over the orchestra he orchestrated. And so you're right. I think both with Strauss and a little bit with Wagner, there's the voice often is the start of essentially the like tonal change that's going to be happening in the music.
Yeah, there's one pedal tone,
yes.
and you're it,
Yep, and your note is usually nowhere in the chord, maybe in a running note. But I think that it's less about trying to make the sound carry, because I always say, like, it's not my job to balance. If you look at the orchestra, I will never win. It's the conductor's job. And so I think that if I am singing the vocal line the way that he wrote, if I am expressing what he wants you to express, Strauss did a lot of the job for you.
Okay. I feel like no, it's okay, you're fine. You have a lot of confidence in your musicianship, and I think we should all have confidence in our musicianship, but the types of roles that you sing are not easy to learn, and they're not necessarily tuneful, and there are technical challenges that are just littered throughout, and it does rely on you like knowing those scores cold. Do you have any skill that comes before singing that helped you achieve that?
I do. I was a trumpet major in college.
Trumpet, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, I'm from South Dakota where there isn't really opera. And so I started as a trumpet player in 5th grade, and starting in middle school knew that's what I wanted to do. And so I started studying with a college professor, and I ended up going to Interlochen Arts Camp for trumpet and took voice lessons for fun. And that's where
So maybe the trumpet helped you understand like the formants and like.
Yeah, I think so. I think it.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
No,
I'm just using words.
I think that I'm really grateful that I started that way, because I think one area where sometimes we lack in teaching young singers is how to practice. An instrumentalist, because it's inherently a foreign object that you're making the music on, you have to learn how to practice at a young age. And so I'm notorious for practicing too much as a singer and sort of beating my voice into submission and needing to, work smarter, not longer. But I think that I learned how to find musicality before I had words and a character. And I do have to say that I was a good trumpet player, but I can see that and in the end, to be the artist I am, I needed words, I needed a character to sort of unlock that. But I think the musicianship I gained from being a trumpet player means that I'm not really daunted by
difficult scores.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And like Tosca, and not to diminish how difficult it is, but it is a role that you can learn it by listening to a record.
Yes, you can.
And that's also...
Your note is in the orchestra.
Yeah. And also, that the audience knows it.
Yes.
And there are some phrases that they're expecting to hear, and you sort of have to pace for them, because this is, people are like literally on the edge of their seats. Okay, this is coming up right now, you know? And so, but that to me makes it easier to learn, because, this is what they were looking for in this moment, So maybe because you're such a good musician, it does give you more opportunity to work on your acting. And yesterday I saw Tosca. I was like, this is so embodied for you, like this role. And like, it's a fine line to thread, because you're an opera singer and you may be, prone to histrionics, but it can't be too histrionic, because then it just looks campy, You have to be a real person too. And that is interesting, because like I've seen plenty of campy Toscas. So yeah, it's fun, but to see somebody that feels natural, as I'm an opera singer, what are you drawn to bring that person to the stage?
And again, it's some people's taste or not, because I think this is the complicated part of opera is everyone goes for different reasons, right? Some people want the theatrics and the camp. Some people want good theater. Some just want a wall of sound. And I think for me as an artist, every character I take on, I want you to care about them. So I know Tosca's a diva, and I know she has all these layers where she's jealous, but she's in love, and she's pious.
Pious, yeah. And every time you walk in front of the cross, you have to reverence.
Yes. And the joy for me in this job is finding real human beings in each character that I get to embody. And so part of the wonderful part, and I think why it became so natural in this production, is my incredible tenor that I worked with, Brian Michael Moore. He is such a natural, beautiful actor, incredible singer, but I feel like I found the duets in Act 1 and Act 3 in this production more than I had in the past because of him as an actor. And I think that it's this great balance where Tosca's jealousy means something different depending on how Cavaradossi responds to her. If he responds with concern, you're like, ooh, this is toxic. If he responds with being dismissive, again, you're worried about them. But in our production, he responds almost being delighted with her in a way that he takes her seriously, but he also isn't worried about their relationship. And I think it builds this beautiful sort of delightful, sincere relationship that in my...
Playful.
Yeah. Yes, and in my opinion makes the end more heartbreaking.
I feel like with Brian Michael Moore, he also has a way of finding a very small sound that has the ability to grow.
Yes.
So that you can hear each other. Okay, are we in tune? Okay, no.
Because when we both let it out, it's a...
I mean, there are those scary moments in Tosca that are a cappella duets. That's like, this has the potential to completely go off the rails.
100%. And every time the orchestra comes back in, we're both anticipating listening. See, are we there? We're good. We're good.
Yeah. No, but I really was delighted with all the physicality you put into the role. And, you know, I'm not going to lie, Des Moines is sort of a scary place to watch opera sometimes, especially when there's like children running across
I know, with the pit in the middle.
Yeah, but there was some stuff like you did where you didn't see what was behind you, but you were doing stuff where you're like arching your back and stuff like that. And like, it feels risky to me that like you just feel very comfortable on that stage.
Yeah. Well, it to me is, because again, I think that I enjoy sort of the subtle acting journey of small motions and watching sort of the acting beats that can sometimes be lost in a huge theater.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, this just feels like a playground where I can every night make a different small choice. And the audience reads it.
Yeah. How you use the weight in your body. Like after you kill Scarpia, suddenly your shoulders are forward and you're like leading like with purpose. But earlier in the opera, you're so feminine. And so like, you would never walk like that.
No, it's true. I can attribute all of that to my wonderful dance teachers growing up.
Okay.
I spent a lot of years doing that. So I feel like when I and with a role like this, like you said, it's not the same kind of challenge that things like Salome and the Wagner roles are. And so I feel a lot more freedom to play physically because I'm not worried about sort of the longevity of it's the endurance of the role.
Yeah.
In the same way that when you got to get through the final scene of Salome, you're pacing yourself.
But you have like reserves in this opera, like where suddenly we get these flashes of Sieglinde that come through in this opera. I mean, especially the last phrase, but there's a couple of times in the first act and the second act where all of a sudden the audience is like pinned to the back of their seats.
I mean, he gave me some high C's. What are you going to do with them?
Yeah. Do you feel like you have anything else you want to say about your Tosca? I know this is your third time doing it, but the first time you said you feel like you really got to do it.
Yes, this is my first kind of run of more than 2 or 3 performances, and I think the thing is, it's one of those roles that the first couple times I did it, I was so daunted by how iconic it is, and knowing, and you just have to accept as a soprano who does this kind of roles, everyone's going to come with Carlisle in their ear. They're going to come with their favorite soprano in their ear. And I think for years when I was younger, I was so concerned about being the sound they expect. And I think one of the benefits of age and sort of luckily having launched my career with a lot of lesser known roles and sort of the obscure Korngold and even the Janacek over here is not I was able to find my voice without having the pressure of being compared to other great sopranos. And so now coming back to Tosca, I'm just enjoying the journey of getting to find this character. And in Puccini in particular, like I've gotten to do one Mimi. And I had done my first Salome before I did my first Mimi. It's crazy. And I went into it and I wasn't that excited because you've seen Bohème so often and it vocally is not as challenging. And so I said, I'm going to go in and my goal is to just sing as beautifully as I can. Find the truth and the challenge is just sing
But isn't that
beautifully.
The Italian style make it beautiful?
It does, but it's completely different to the beauty of Strauss.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn a new style and focus on, not just kind of getting through things, but how beautifully can I sing this phrase patiently. And I think that I'm slowly understanding Puccini's style more and more. So I'm hoping I get to do more Toscas because I think each time I do it, it unlocks, but it's the same thing with every role. It unlocks something new in you.
I'm so glad you said it in your way because I'm always trying to say this on the show, but maybe I'm not as experienced with it to actually bring the evidence to the table. But with a role like Mimi, it is all of these iconic phrases that have to be sung beautifully in order for the character to be loved by the audience.
Yes. Yep.
Well, Des Moines, this is my second year at Des Moines. And like you said yesterday, I was blown away by some of the people that are, in the background here, who could get up and sing Scarpia,
Absolutely.
What has your experience been like at Des Moines? And so I want the audience to hear, do you enjoy singing in Des Moines?
I mean, I'm gonna glow about this company. I think that there's something so special here. I of course I'm from South Dakota, so I'm back in my homeland. Getting to perform here, I think we've sold out half of Tosca with tickets from South Dakotans who have come to see me perform, old childhood friends and college friends. And I think there's something really special about sort of this Midwestern small town. The whole town sort of becomes about opera for a couple months in the summer. And I think for me, the thing that also is special is the company of people here who run it, the chances artistically they take with the repertoire, with a small season in a company that you would assume would just need to do the hits to get audiences to come. But every year they do some sort of hit, and then they take these bold chances, like this year with King Roger and Of Mice and Men. And over the years, because I was here, I guess it was like 8 years ago, and I did Foreign Princess and Rusalka, and I feel like they have fostered an audience that trusts them enough to take chances and come to see the thing they've never heard of. And it continues to grow. They just do excellent work, and they bring in incredible performers. I feel like the talent here is matching any other country or company around the country. And I think for me this theater is one of my favorite theaters, because actually the sound is very good. It's not too dry, but it's a small theater. And so, like I said, for me as an actress, I feel as though I get to show people a film instead of being on a hall, in a hall so far away.
I'm so glad you said that, because the second act was so cinematic. And like that lighting effect of you closing the door and being backlit, that was stunning. So,
and our scenic designer, lighter, and our incredible director, Joshua Bortz, uses this stage in a way that I think it's such a unique experience for an opera goer, because you're so close that you can touch it, but then also because the pit is in the middle of the stage, you have this, I don't know, it's like there's no end to sort of the playing area. And we constantly were working to make sure we were angled, never just straight on, but so no one ever felt left out for too long.
Yeah, you sing some phrases upstage.
Yep, I start Visitarte facing the back of the stage, but in this also the balance then is never a problem with the orchestra. So yeah, it's also a joy just practically to be in such an easy place to live for a summer, not in some foreign city or big city somewhere.
Figuring out how to do the laundry, where to get the groceries.
It's just, you can walk everywhere. There's a cute downtown, and there's something really relaxing about that atmosphere. But
it helps you be better.
Yes. And I think it also, the David Neely and Michael Eagle and Alan Perriello, the people who sort of run the company, you can feel the support from them, and you can feel their desire for you to take artistic chances, even because that's what they foster in having this repertoire here. And so I've felt, it's not always the case that you feel valued for what you're bringing to the company, even if you know you're doing a good job, because you have myriad of egos and complications. And I feel like here, I think we have all felt extremely valued and supported, and I think we've ended up being able to create something really special because of it.
My thanks to Scott Ahrens, who is Des Moines Director of Advancement. He let me use his office, and you could hear some people in the background because that interview was recorded on the Sunday after I saw Tosca at an event, which I guess we're going to talk about now. We, on Sunday before King Roger, Des Moines keeps track of all of its out-of-town constituents and invites them to a reception. I think they do this every weekend. And so I was invited to use their offices to interview Laura Wilde. But while I was there, I got to rub elbows with people who traveled from California. I think there was one from France in the audience. Definitely a lot of people from Chicago, lots of people from Kansas. And there was a really beautiful event. And I will say that throughout the festival, hospitality is so much on their minds. They create so many opportunities to welcome their audience, to encourage the audience to gather for conversation, during the intermission, obviously, but also after the show. Like the lobby is really set up for the audience to greet the artists as they come out of their costumes and, you know, say hi. And they even like have the patio set up with drinks. It was too humid. Not many people took advantage because it was really, really hot this weekend. But, you know, if you wanted to have a drink on the patio, with, you know, the principal artist, you could have. It's just, they're so warm and thoughtful. And this reception where I was interviewing Laura Wilde, they offer us, you know, free wine and cheese, and they made us put on name tags with, you know, where we're from so we could all greet each other. And I bumped into so many people from Chicago, which, you know, I can't think of other companies that have, you know, go that extra step to introduce, you know, the audience to themselves, you know, it's like, and maybe make friends that they didn't realize that they had, you know. So that kudos to them for those types of events. King Roger was the opera I was most looking forward to seeing. Christopher Sokolowski did not disappoint as the shepherd / Dionysius. Lydia Katarina, the only named soprano, she was Roxana, and she is wow. She is something else. She has one of those voices that you can't quite put your finger on what fuck is she? What the fuck is she doing? It's very present in the middle voice, and it's also present in the lower register without having to engage the chest. It has lots of overtone, and the high stuff just soars through the house.
That's exactly what you want for that opera too.
Yeah, so much overtone. And I talked to her about like, what is going on with your voice? Like, well, she studied as a mezzo before she switched to soprano. So she has like lots of, the voice just speaks in every register. And I think it's for that reason that she's already been named as the 4 heroines in their upcoming Tales of Hoffmann next year. So I'm looking forward to seeing her, because she's an amazing actress too, to see her take on Giulietta and Antonia, which seemed like a natural fit for her. It'll be interesting to see how she approaches Olympia. The voice is very rich, and you don't usually expect to hear voices that colorful as Olympia. So that'll be interesting, and I'll report on it next year. Christopher Sokolowski, once again, held in tenor, but very youthful and basically naked the entire show. I mean, I thought his main costume was going to be like this Dionysius, you know, it's only made of chains costume. But actually his entrance costume, where he's the shepherd, is so sheer. And I think he's wearing a thong underneath it. So
standard shepherd wear.
Yeah. People in the front couple of rows got a lot of Christopher Sokolowski. I wasn't close enough, unfortunately, to see exactly what he was wearing underneath that sheer shepherd outfit. But all kidding aside, he sung like $1 million. And there are moments in that opera, you know the score better than I do, where the chorus is singing and, you know, the orchestra is wailing away, and the shepherd has to sing like declamatory phrases. And every time he pulled the trigger on those, man, could you hear him? It was very, very impressive sounds that he makes. But the surprise performance for me was actually that of Alexander Birch Elliott, the King Roger himself. I feel like I got to start following this guy because, you know, he's maybe 5'10" and 150 pounds soaking wet, maybe less than that. Very, very, I don't want to say he's slight because like he's in shape and I'm just fat, you know, but he seems like very lithe, you know. But man, does he make some sound. Very impressive, you know, heroic sounds. Yeah. I could imagine him already in like as Yohanan or something like that, you know, like it's very present. And he's so youthful looking, and he also doesn't have a lot of costume to wear in the last scene. And very in shape guy, like ready to, you know, do dead man walking push-up scene, you know.
Yes. Yeah,
he's one of those types of baritones, like where there's not a lot of body fat there, and it's a lot to enjoy if you're a gay man. But I was looking to meet him after the show and congratulate him on his singing, but I was like tripped up talking to Lydia and talking to Christopher. I never got around to making it to talking to him. So if you're hearing this, Alexander Birch Elliott, I'm a fan. Congratulations to Des Moines for putting that on. The audience went crazy for it. There's so much to look at during the Bacchanal that you couldn't watch it all. Everybody was like writhing and getting undressed and, pole dancing on each other. Like, all these poor apprentice sopranos who like don't get to do anything all season long, but you got to show up in this and take off your clothes. Welcome to Des Moines.
Welcome to Des Moines.
No, but I obviously, really enjoyed it. I haven't wrapped my mind around the plot or the score yet.
No one has ever understood the plot of King Roger. It is very much a vibes opera. But it sounds like the vibes were immaculate. Yeah,
they were. And I'll finish up by saying we already know what they're doing next season. Billy Budd with future friend of the show, Ian Rucker, who sang Billy Budd with Christopher Sokolowski at Aix-en-Provence last year. They're using that Beautiful Boys image to sell tickets. Like there's these giant posters of Ian Rucker, wearing like a vest and nothing else, and like his beautiful skin and his curly hair and his blue eyes and his bicep just bulging. Like it's a great poster. Tales of Hoffmann, which will for sure have Lydia Katarina as the 4 heroines. Other cast is still not announced, and the Glass Orphée, which I've never seen before, and I hear it's a good show. So yeah, I'm looking forward. It's quickly becoming my favorite event of the summer. And yeah, I can't wait to get back.
Good call. Bad call on Opera Box Score.
Good call, bad call. That's how we end the show. Skipped right over that 2-minute drill, but that's okay. Oliver Camacho, let's start with you.
Well, if we were to have done a 2-minute drill, we would have learned that the day this podcast drops, July 16th is the first performance date, the premiere date of Mozart's Abduction from the Seraglio, one of my favorite operas in 1782. So there's your little bit of mini drill. It just so happens that Ravinia Festival is presenting Abduction in concert today and Saturday. You may still have time to see it and see me in the audience tonight or Saturday, the matinee, starring friend of the show Catherine Lewick and hopefully friend of the show Miles Mikkonen. While he's in town, I'm going to solicit him to see if I can get him on the show for the podcast.
I believe in you. I have a bad call, and this was, I think, news about 2 weeks ago, and I think we just completely missed it. But it turns out that the upcoming Ring Cycle at Bayreuth will feature AI as part of, I assume, projections. Exactly. It's the worst thing the Wagner family has ever done. I mean, all jokes aside, I think this is very disappointing. The logic seems to be, we want to be really cutting edge. But to me, it smacks of cheapness and desperation, much like bringing back Rienzi. I think that as an artistic movement, especially one that is so deeply based in the human voice, I mean, a lot of opera people aren't even comfortable with the idea of microphones. So like, why are we doing generative AI, people? Let's just leave that as a fad to be moved past, much like other eras at Bayreuth. That is it for this week's edition of America's Talk Radio show about opera. Make sure you subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Get your voice heard and find links to stuff we've talked about at our website, operaboxscore.com. That's also where you can put your money where our mouths are. Give back to the OBS using the Support the Team tab. Your announcer is Norm Waddell, your creative consultant is Oliver Camacho, and your audio editor is me. The executive producer of the OBS is George Cedarquist. For our guests, Laura Wilde, Alan Perriello, Katie J. Bryan, and the 9 stars of tomorrow who stepped up to the mic, I'm Weston Williams, asking you to continue the conversation about opera as you take the next highly achievable step in your career. We're back with an all-new show next week when we go Inside the Huddle, hopefully with Miles Mikkonen. Plus, you get more opera headlines, more hot takes, and more four-legged opera stars. Join us.